coming out.
There's a lot going to happen there. We know. Okay, I want to pivot to Tony Fauci. McCarthy's got a tendency to get in front, jump on the bandwagon after it's gone. You do the pick and shovel work. You've put this bill out about Fauci months ago, I think. We've been on Fauci since January 2020. Very first show we lit this guy up, right, as a total phony. Walk us through the case. Walk us through Marjorie Taylor Greene's case against Tony Fauci.
Well, first, I would like to say to all your viewers, you all owe Steve and his team a huge debt of gratitude because they have been telling the truth about Anthony Fauci from day one. So thank you, Steve, for being one of the few that get the truth out early and right away. And then we also need to thank President Trump. He's been right all along about this virus and about the origins. Dr. Anthony Fauci needs to get a lawyer because he is liable. I believe he's liable, criminally liable for what has happened with COVID-19. That's why I wrote the Fauci Act and introduced it back in early April. Fire Fauci, because this man
hang over a second. You're saying fire Fauci is one thing. Back up. What do you mean criminally liable? That's where you're into a whole different category. Why do you say that about Dr. Tony Fauci? Biden promoted him to chief medical advisor to the president. He's lauded as Saint Tony Fauci on TV every day. Why do you say you're just not for firing him? You're for bringing criminal. You think he ought to face criminal charges?
Well, my Fire Fauci Act asks for a full investigation because we've suspected all along that he is criminally liable. Here's why. If you go back, you can go back to 2012, you can go back to 2014, where Anthony Fauci was using American tax dollars and sending it to the Wuhan lab to fund this research that was creating viruses. Why is there any need to create a virus that can spread rapidly through a population, make people sick and kill them? That's a bioweapon. So we need to be very clear about what was the intent of COVID-19 and these viruses that they experiment with, like some sort of Dr. Frankenstein experiments. These are bioweapons. There's no other reason to create a virus that makes people sick, spreads so quick, and kills people. There's no other intent, but it's a bioweapon. And then our American
You don't buy the argument that say, hey, the gain of function is all because we've got to take these viruses and we got to power them up to look for vaccines and to look for other solutions in case somehow they come up with this. You don't buy the logic of that. Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't buy it because I don't believe in evolution. I don't believe in that type of so-called science. I don't believe in evolution. I believe in God. And there's these viruses were not making people sick until they created them and made them into weaponize these viruses to be able to attach to our cells and make us sick. This has caused so many people to die all over the world. This is a bioweapon. People can call it whatever they can for research and to create, vaccinations, but there's no need for a vaccine if the virus doesn't make the human population sick to begin with. So I think it's a very disturbing type of research. And I don't think our American tax dollars should ever be funding it. And so I have a problem with that from the beginning, and I want an investigation into it. And then secondly, we know it's very clear. It's very clear what happened, that this virus came out of the Wuhan lab. It made those 3 scientists sick early on, and then it spread. And Anthony Fauci is on record back in 2014. He's on video talking about saying, well, there's a particular case that perhaps these SARS viruses, these viruses could escape the wet markets and cause a pandemic. Well, what was the very reason they told us that COVID-19 spread in the first place? We were told, it was a virus from a bat that escaped the wet market and has become a pandemic. And then we need to look at where is China involved? Because China knew right away these people were sick. They knew right away where this virus came from. And then they allowed millions of people to travel, leaving the Wuhan region, leaving that area, traveling all over China and then all over the world. So there's a link, and it needs to be investigated, and people need to be held accountable.
We've got a minute left, but basically for viruses like SARS, you're not opposed to doing research on to find out what these if there are viruses out there, scientists to find therapeutics, et cetera. You're not opposed to the study of viruses. You're opposed, I just want to make sure I understand this, you're opposed to the gain of function which power up these viruses that are found in nature. I just want to make sure I understand that. Correct?
Yes, that is exactly right. I'm not opposed to research. Of course, we need to research viruses. But I am opposed to creating viruses. And that's what they did. They created a virus. And this virus clearly escaped the Wuhan lab and killed people.
We have to bounce. We have Mo Brooks next. But I want to get your bills. We're going to get the bills that she's put forward that have not been moved on by the Republicans. And we understand it's the minority, but they haven't been moved on, particularly this Fauci bill. Congressman Greene, real quickly, just social media. How to